And welcome back to ABC 7 Extra Sunday. I'm Mark Ross. Our guest, the new Chief Executive Officer of the El Paso Chamber, Ricardo Mora. Mr. Mora, what programs does the Chamber have right now that you would like to see expand and continue?
Well, the Chamber has been an advocate for our community and has many programs. As I've started to learn about what, the great things that they do, they have a leadership class. And I believe, we're starting a new leadership group. It'll be number 45. It brings the community and the business owners into a leadership program that allows them to learn what there is in our community on both sides of the border. And this really strengthens their relationships. It gives them access to capital, gives them access to new potential opportunities. So that's one of the programs that I'd like to see continue. I know that there's areas for women in business. We just recently, last week, had it was wonderful. I attended the Women in Business Conference, and it really showcases how history, from older women to younger women are making impact in our community. So these are two examples of programs that I think should continue for the Chamber.
Are you finding in your conversations that there are a lot more women business owners today?
I am finding in the conversation that, and in my previous work, it was really 80% women-led. So I'm very excited to work with women. I think they're great at what they do, and as a matter of fact, at the Chamber, I'm a minority.
That's right. I know I think Andrea had almost an entire women-led staff, which is tremendous.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about a couple of the Chamber's initiatives in more detail. There are things that many El Pasoans, I'm sure, aren't aware of when it comes to the Chamber. Talk about the El Paso Mobility Coalition and what it does to benefit the city.
Well, the El Paso Mobility Coalition is part of the Chamber, and it's a coalition that is meant to understand really what's happening across our city, how our city is connecting and planning for future growth. So the mobility really brings stakeholders to have these conversations. At the end of the day, we're working to try and get everybody to play at the same level and convene and make sure that the future for El Paso through mobility, because it's a city that, as we know, many things are happening in growth on many parts of the city with expansion plans. It's very important to have the proper mobility for a city to grow correctly.
So then does the coalition go to Austin and approach the legislature and say, hey, we really need to expand XYZ for transportation needs?
The coalition does visit Austin, and I know that we're going to be up there in Austin, and it's part of the advocacy work that we will be doing. So if there's community leaders that want to have conversations, please reach out to us. Let us know what your thoughts are, what you're thinking, so we can put these into words and perspective and guide the conversation for mobility.
And tell us a little bit about the Civic Action Lab. This sounds very intriguing to me.
Yeah. Well, the Civic Action Lab is a new initiative that is getting a lot of momentum. And for a community to grow, it's important for the community members to be part of the conversation. And the Civic Lab, what it's really doing, it's going out to the community and getting community members to have a voice and say, listen, you should participate. Well, somebody might say, well, no, I'm not. I'm just a housewife. I said, well, you have a voice. You can participate. How can we help you understand that your voice is important? So the Civic Action Lab really helps bring folks from the community to start getting into leadership positions that could potentially, shape our community.
And I'm sure you're also looking for feedback from these people to say, these are the concerns I have for my neighborhood, my side of town.
That's definitely what it is. And as we know, as just living in our personal neighborhoods with our associations, there's a calling for each one of us to be civic about what we need to improve in our area. So it even starts at that level. And we're a platform to help them have a larger voice and a larger microphone.
Final question for you tonight. The 2020 census showed that Texas grew at a rate of 8%. El Paso's growth, however, was slower at 5%. It was the lowest growth rate in 80 years. Yet the growth rate outside of the city limits in the county was at 23%. Do you see that as a problem?
The growth that El Paso had, or this little slowdown that it had, and how the city has been expanding, I do believe that It's part of our growing pains. I don't see it as the city really slowing down. The chamber has partnerships, with the county and with, San Elizario and with Horizon, EDC. We visited with them recently, as a matter of fact, and these are partnerships that need to be strengthened. And I do believe that economic development is not just the city part. We need to look on the outskirts of it. So I would think that this, slowdown on the city side really is just a small, bump in the road, but not really something that we should be concerned about, because in essence, the county and the areas surrounding El Paso have a strong growth.
So you want to strengthen the economic development that is going on in Horizon and Cañutillo and other outlying areas of the county?
We'll definitely be working with each one of them, and there are partnering organizations, and anything that we can see from the city side, obviously we can share with them, and from their side, we've actually been invited to have an office at the EDC Center in Horizon, which are just open conversations, because there's so much collaboration that needs it, is happening already, and we're just going to build on that and everything that Andrea did.
So best practices are things you want to share with the outlying communities. Best practices as far as what's going on in the city and things that perhaps can work in other parts of outside the El Paso city limits.
Yeah, that is exactly what we plan to do. Be able to digest what El Paso is doing, reflect it with with the adjacent communities, and then understand what the adjacent communities are doing to see how there is a going back and forth. Because you could have a business in Horizon and you could still have a business in El Paso, and that's how businesses grow and expand and scale.
Ricardo Mora, the new CEO of the El Paso Chamber. Best of luck as you begin on your first day tomorrow. Congratulations on the position, and thank you for coming on ABC 7 Extra.
Mark, thank you for having me. It's a privilege, and I look forward to working with everybody, and invite any small business that wants to join the chamber. Please call us. We can help.
And hopefully in a few months we can have you back, and you can kind of tell us how things are going.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching ABC 7 Extra Sunday. I'm Mark Ross. Stay safe, stay strong. We'll see you next Sunday night.
Thank you for watching. ABC 7 News is now available on any of these streaming services, as well as the KVIA News and KVIA Weather and Traffic apps.